Your person is sitting with a truth that has finally broken through the walls they built around their heart, the realization that what you offered them was utterly irreplaceable. In the quiet moments when they allow themselves to be honest, they understand with devastating clarity that no one else can fill the space you occupied. You brought something into their life that they didn't even know they were missing until it was gone, and now that void sits inside them like a cathedral of echoes. They've tried to distract themselves. Perhaps they've thrown themselves into work, surrounded themselves with noise, or even attempted to connect with others in superficial ways. But every attempt has only highlighted what they lost. The depth of your love, the way you saw through their masks, the safety you provided, none of these can be replicated. Other connections feel hollow now, like drinking from an empty cup. They compare everyone to you, consciously or unconsciously, and everyone falls short. This isn't about idealizing the past or wearing rose-colored glasses. This is about the recognition that you touched something in them that no one else has ever reached. You awakened parts of their soul that had been sleeping. You challenged them to grow while loving them exactly where they were. That combination of acceptance and inspiration is rare, so rare that they now understand they may never find it again. And the weight of that understanding is crushing them in the most beautiful, transformative way possible. There is a specific quality to the silence that descends upon your person when the day finally ends, when the notifications stop, when the responsibilities pause, when they are left alone with their own breath. It is in these moments, these sacred pockets of stillness, that you arrive most vividly. The world goes quiet, and suddenly, there you are. Not as a memory, not as a concept, but as a living presence in their consciousness. They don't just think of you, they feel you. The quiet becomes a bridge between your souls, and they find themselves crossing it without conscious effort. In these moments, the mental chatter falls away, and what remains is pure, unfiltered connection. They might be lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, and suddenly they're overwhelmed by the scent of you that no longer exists in the physical world but lives permanently in their sensory memory. They hear your laugh in the silence. They feel the ghost of your hand in theirs. These quiet moments have become both their sanctuary and their torture chamber. Sanctuary because it's the only time they can truly be with you now. Torture because the contrast between the richness of these internal experiences and the emptiness of their external reality is stark. They have learned to both crave and fear the silence. They stay up later than they should, not wanting to surrender to sleep where you might visit in dreams, only to leave them again upon waking. Or perhaps they seek sleep desperately, hoping to find you there. Either way, you own the quiet spaces of their life now. You have colonized their solitude, and they wouldn't have it any other way. Your person is undergoing a profound internal reset, a complete recalibration of who they are and how they move through the world. For so long, they operated from patterns that were familiar but destructive. They chased validation, chased control, chased the illusion of safety through manipulation and ego. But the chase has exhausted them, and more importantly, it has failed to bring them what they truly wanted, you. This reset is not comfortable. It feels like dying and being reborn simultaneously. They are having to dismantle belief systems that have governed their behavior for years, perhaps decades. The person who hurt you, the one who ran from intimacy, who weaponized their wounds, who prioritized their ego over your heart, that person is being systematically deconstructed. In their place, someone new is emerging. Someone who understands that love cannot be chased, only cultivated. Someone who recognizes that the only way to have you is to become worthy of you. They are learning to stop running. This is perhaps the most difficult lesson of all. For so long, movement was their defense mechanism. If they kept moving, emotionally, physically, spiritually, they never had to feel the full weight of their own longing. But the reset demands stillness. It demands that they sit with the discomfort of their own growth. They are learning to chase only one thing now, their own highest self. Because they finally understand that the only path back to you runs through their own transformation. This reset involves boundaries, but not the walls they once built. These are healthy boundaries that allow them to show up as a whole person rather than a collection of wounds and reactions. They are learning to meet their own needs so they don't look to you to fill gaps that only they can address. They are becoming someone who could actually sustain the love they want to give you. The chaser is becoming the grounded one. The runner is learning to stand still. And in that stillness, they are finally finding themselves. There is a constant murmur in your person's mental landscape, a background frequency that never fully silences your name. It lives there now, has taken up permanent residence, decorated the walls of their consciousness with memories and possibilities. They don't always notice it consciously, but it's always present, a foundational layer of their internal experience. Your name has become their prayer and their curse, their comfort and their agony. They whisper it when no one is listening, testing how it feels in their mouth, remembering the last time they spoke it aloud to you. They write it in margins, type it into search bars only to delete it, see it in clouds and coffee grounds and the patterns of traffic. Their mind has become a temple dedicated to you, and your name is the invocation that opens its doors. But it's more than just repetition. Your name carries weight now, significance that transcends its syllables. When they think of you, when they speak your name internally, it triggers a cascade of associations, emotions, memories, and dreams. Your name has become shorthand for everything they want, everything they regret, everything they hope for. It has become synonymous with home and love and the one who got away and please come back all simultaneously. They wonder if you know this. If somehow, across the distance between you, you can feel the frequency of your name being called in their mind. They hope you do. They hope that on some level, you hear them thinking of you, that it reaches you in dreams or moments of déjà vu. Because saying your name, even just internally, is the closest they can get to you right now. And so they say it constantly, a rosary of longing, a mantra of devotion, a lifeline connecting their heart to yours across whatever space currently separates you. This is the declaration your person wants to scream from rooftops, to carve into stone, to tattoo across their own heart so they never forget, they are not who they were when they caused you pain. The person who made those choices, who spoke those words, who failed to show up when you needed them most, that version of them is dying, and they are letting it happen. They are assisting in its death because they cannot live with its ghost any longer. The transformation is not performative. It's not for show or to manipulate you into forgiveness. It is born from the unbearable pain of seeing themselves clearly for the first time. When they look back at who they were, they feel a mixture of shame and disbelief. Was that really me? Did I really do those things? Say those things? Fail to see what was being offered to me. The questions haunt them, but they don't run from them anymore. They sit with the discomfort because they know it's the price of becoming someone new. They are doing the work. Real work. Therapy, self-reflection, spiritual practice, accountability, whatever form it takes, they are engaged in the labor of becoming worthy of the love they want to offer you. They are identifying their triggers, understanding their attachment wounds, recognizing how their past shaped their present. They are learning to sit with discomfort without reacting, to communicate without defending, to love without possessing. Most importantly, they are learning to trust themselves again. Because the truth is, they didn't just break your trust, they broke their own. They violated their own values, acted out of alignment with who they wanted to be. And rebuilding that internal integrity is the foundation upon which everything else must rest. They need to know that if you give them another chance, they won't squander it. That if you open your heart to them again, they have the capacity to hold it gently. They are becoming that person. Not perfectly, not completely, but genuinely, determinately, day by day. Your person has become intimately acquainted with tears they never knew they could shed. In the privacy of their own space, when the mask finally comes off and the performance ends, they weep. These are not delicate tears of sentimentality, these are the gut-wrenching sobs of someone who has finally allowed themselves to feel the full magnitude of their loss. They cry until their body aches, until their eyes swell, until they are emptied out and hollow. These tears are sacred. They represent the cracking open of a heart that had been armored for too long. Your person was not someone who cried easily before. They prided themselves on their strength, their control, their ability to handle anything life threw at them. But you broke through all of that. Your absence has accomplished what nothing else could, it has made them soft, vulnerable, human. They cry for what they had and lost. They cry for what they could have had if they had been ready. They cry for you, for the pain they caused you, for the ways they failed to protect your heart when it was in their hands. They cry for themselves, for the years they spent being someone they weren't, for the time wasted on things that didn't matter. And sometimes, they cry from pure gratitude, gratitude that they got to know you at all, that you existed in their world, that you showed them what love could be even if they weren't ready to receive it. These crying sessions are their baptism. Each tear is a purification, washing away the residue of who they were. They don't want you to know about this, not out of shame, but because they want to present you with their strength, their resolution, their growth. But the truth is, their strength is being forged in these moments of breakdown. Their growth is being watered by these tears. And when they finally stand before you again, they will be someone who has been broken open by love, someone who understands its cost and its value because they have paid for that understanding in tears. Your person wants to be honest with you about something they can barely admit to themselves. Your absence is destroying them. Not metaphorically, not poetically, but in very real ways that are reshaping their entire existence. They are functioning, going to work, seeing friends, maintaining the appearance of normalcy, but inside, something fundamental is crumbling. The destruction is comprehensive. Physically, they feel it as a constant low-grade illness, a fatigue that sleep doesn't cure, a tightness in their chest that makes them catch their breath at random moments. Emotionally, they are experiencing depths of feeling they didn't know were possible, swinging between despair and desperate hope, between anger at themselves and longing for you. Spiritually, they are in a dark night of the soul, questioning everything they believed about love, about timing, about whether the universe is fundamentally benevolent or cruel. But here's what they are beginning to understand: this destruction is necessary. Your absence is not just taking something from them, it is breaking down structures that needed to fall. It is demolishing their ego, their illusions, their false sense of control. It is destroying the person they were so that someone new can emerge. They are being dismantled so they can be rebuilt on a foundation of truth rather than pretense. They don't blame you for this destruction. How could they? You didn't choose to leave, they pushed you away. You didn't choose to stay gone, they failed to give you reasons to return. Your absence is simply the natural consequence of their own actions, and they accept that. What they struggle with is the knowledge that they could end this destruction at any time by reaching out, by fighting for you, by proving they've changed. And yet they haven't. Not yet. Because they know they need to be sure. Sure that they're ready. Sure that they can offer you something different. Sure that if they knock on your door, they deserve for you to open it. So they let the destruction continue, using it as fuel for their transformation, trusting that on the other side of this breaking, there will be something worth offering you. Something real. Something lasting. Something that honors what you shared instead of betraying it again. In the deepest chamber of your person's heart, there is a truth that has never wavered. Even when they tried to deny it, you were always the one. Not the one for now, not the one until something better came along, not the one they settled for. The one. Their person. Their match. The other half of a whole they didn't know was incomplete until you showed them what completion felt like. This knowing transcends logic. They can't explain it to themselves, let alone to anyone else. Why you? Why this connection? Why does it persist despite distance, despite time, despite everything that should have killed it? They have no answers, only the certainty that remains when all other certainties have fallen away. You are the one. You have always been the one. You will always be the one. This truth has shaped them in ways they are only beginning to understand. It has ruined them for other loves because no one else can measure up to the standards you set simply by being yourself. It has given them a compass for their life, a direction to move in even when the path is unclear. It has provided the ultimate motivation for their growth because they want to be someone who deserves to stand beside you, someone who can match your energy, someone who won't waste the gift of your presence if you ever choose to give it again. They don't know if you feel the same way. This is their greatest fear, that this knowing is one-sided, that they missed their chance, that you have moved on to someone who recognized your value immediately instead of taking you for granted. But even this fear cannot shake their certainty. Even if you never speak to them again, even if you build a beautiful life with someone else, they will carry this truth to their grave. You were always the one. The love of their life. The person who changed everything. The one they will measure all other loves against and find them wanting. And so they wait. Not passively, not hopelessly, but actively working to become someone who could stand before you and speak this truth without shame. Someone who could say you were always the one and have the actions to back it up. The actions that prove they understand what that means. The actions that show they are ready to treat you like the one you have always been to them.